See, who are we missing? Do we have Ben on? Is Ben on? And Elizabeth, we're missing. I don't think I saw Lisa. Is Lisa on?
I think not yet.
So we're missing one from each. Well, one from each region. Two from California. California Central Time.
And if folks that don't have their name on their little Hollywood Square, if you right click on yourself, you can change your name on there just so that folks knows if there are people that don't know each other already, what to call you besides a abbreviation of your name.
Okay.
You just right click on your picture?
I think so. Let's see.
I think there's a little dot that comes up.
Yeah, and you can rename yourself. And I guess you could pick whatever name you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be comfortable with people calling you that name if you make something up.
Great. All right, we have just about everybody. I think we're just missing two people. Oh, whoops, maybe not. Yeah, just Lizway and Ben, I think. Ben? Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a lot to cover. Welcome, everybody. I'm Elaine with California Campus Compact, and we're so excited to have you all here. We are going to record this because we have a couple folks, our leaders, our scholar leaders, Julie Plout and Mike join us. So we're recording that so that they can watch it later. I'm going to quickly walk through the agenda, and then those of us affiliated with the compact are going to introduce ourselves, and then a little history of ESI for you all, and then we'll have you all introduce yourselves. So we're also going to walk through the logistical information sheet. Oh, yeah, Stephanie's recommending you mute yourself if you're not speaking, so that, and that's a little, for those of you who are less familiar with Zoom, there's a microphone down in the bottom left. If you scroll, put your cursor down at the bottom left, you can see a mute button. And then just click that to unmute yourself to speak. So we'll walk through the logistics, because there were a lot of logistics that we sent you, and talk also about fees and all that, and registering for the national conference. We'll say a little bit about the curriculum, monthly virtual meetings, and we're gonna, if time allows, we're gonna break into our regional groups, because we have that capability of doing breakout groups. Let's see, so I'm just curious if we have everyone. Nope, we're still missing two people. Okay, so let's just start first with some very quick introductions of the compact team here. So I'm, as I said, Elaine, and I am the executive director of California Campus Compact. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and then I'll turn it over. We'll just head west from here. So is that Stephanie?
I don't know. We're sort of stacked on top of each other, Montana and Colorado. So, but I'm Stephanie, Campus Compact of the Mountain West. We work with Colorado and Wyoming. My pronouns are she, her, hers. We're based in Denver, and what else?
That's about it.
That's
right?
it. Yeah. Okay. That's me.
Hey everybody, I'm Josh, and I'm with Montana Campus Compact, he, him, his.
Hi, I'm Andrea Vernon, also with Montana Campus Compact, she, her, hers, and we have our network office located in Missoula, Montana, in Western Montana at the University of Montana.
So we're part of a larger Western region, which includes Hawaii, Pacific Islands, Oregon, and Washington. we didn't end up with any ESI scholars from those states, and pretty much anyway, Josh, Andrea, Stephanie, and I were the team that really felt strongly about having an ESI group, this inaugural Western group. I'm just going to say a little bit about the history. Hopefully you all know about Campus Compact. I'm not going to go into Campus Compact. If you have questions about that, you can ask us later about the history of Campus Compact. But about 10 years ago, there was a Engaged Scholars initiative that was led out of the National Campus Compact that brought together about 15 people from across the country to gather together and have a cohort experience for a year. That round was a mix, again, of faculty, early career faculty, and folks who run service centers, community engagement centers on the campus. After a long break and some changes in staff and whatnot over time, we decided we wanted to give it a try again. And so about a year ago, the Eastern region began with an ESI group around the same number of folks, a blend of half faculty, early career faculty, and staff. And they're now wrapping up their experience. And the Midwest group began earlier this year. So they're just a little bit ahead of us with a few meetings under their belt. And then we're the third group, the third region to get going. We're hoping maybe in the next year, the southern region of Campus Compact might also do an ESI. But this is the first time we're doing it in the West, and we're really hoping this can be something we are able to do perhaps every other year, bringing folks together for this cohort type experience. So just to keep things moving, I'm not going to go into any more depth on that, but feel free later to ask any questions if you want to know more about that. And right now, what I'd love for us to do is to do an introduction of each of you. If you can just say your name, what institution you're at, what type of role you have on the campus, and then just something for fun, how many states or countries, and it doesn't have to be exact, have you lived in? And if you want, you can feel free to name a few of your favorites. So we'll start with the California folks first, and I'll just say again, Elaine Ikeda. I've been with Campus Compact for California for 19 years, and I've pretty much only lived in 2 states. 99% of that time has been in California. So I will pass it. Oh, and please also share your pronouns, she, her, hers, and I'll pass it on to, let's start in the South. We have a lot of you in the South, so maybe San Diego, and then heading up to Pomona, and then, well, the 3 of you are in Pomona, and then if Nolizwe's on the phone. So we'll start with Austin. And go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks for the reminder on the mute. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to kind of see everybody's faces and put some names to that. So my name's Austin. My preferred gender pronouns are he, him, and his. I am working here in the Mulvaney Center for Community Awareness and Social Action. So it's a really unnecessarily long title, as I'm sure we all have. My role is the Assistant Director in Student Leadership and Learning. So essentially, I have the great opportunity to take students and immerse them into the community so they can add context to a lot of their education. So I'll kind of keep it short for that. I've actually lived in 10 states, so try and beat that. That's probably because I was in the military before I came into here. And originally I'm from Atlanta, so I'll be actually going back tomorrow. I'm excited to be back home. So pleasure to see everybody.
Gabriella?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Gabriela Gamis. I'm at Harvey Med College. I have been here in different capacities for about 10 years this November. In my most recent role, I'm director of our new Office of Community Engagement. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and hers. And states, I would say just California has been my home state. I have brothers who live out of state, and I spend a significant amount of time visiting them and joining family, but California is my state. And I also had an opportunity to live in Santiago de Chile. And so that was also an experience back in my 20s.
Jalissa? Jalissa, you might need to unmute.
Can you see me?
Go ahead, Jalissa.
All right. So my name is Jalissa, and I'm the director for the Office of Civic and Community Engagement here at the University of Laverne. I had technical difficulties, so if you could tell me again what exactly you were doing introductions, yes?
Yeah, say what you do, and then your preferred pronouns, and also how many states or countries you've lived in, and any that are your favorite.
Oh, awesome. And my preferred pronouns are she, hers, and hers, her. And my home state has always, and from, I don't know any time that I'm moving, but has always been California. I've had the opportunity to live abroad. When I did study abroad in my undergrad, I was in Salvador, Bahia in Brazil. So that was a lot of fun, but my home state is California.
Thank you. Lydia.
Hi, everyone. Like Jalissa, I've always lived in California. I am born and raised LA, love to travel, but this is home. I'm from Cal Poly Pomona. I teach in the International Business and Marketing Department and have been involved in service learning for several years. Outside of teaching, I'm also a marketing and strategy consultant, and I'm really excited about this cohort. She, her, hers.
Thank you. And then we'll head up to Northern Cal. Nalizwe, I saw you joined us. Thank you.
Hi. Yes. Hey, everyone. Apologies for being late. My name is Nolizwe. I am from the University of San Francisco, where I serve as the Associate Director for Programs for Partnership for Engage San Francisco, which is a place-based community engagement initiative. I use they, them pronouns. I was born in California, but my family's from South Africa, so I lived in South Africa for my middle school and my high school years, and then did some time in Boston before coming back here to California. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's head to Montana. Is Peter, if you want to start us off?
Hi there. Yeah, my name is Peter Buchanan, and I am Civic Engagement Coordinator at Montana State University, Billings. My pronouns are he, him, and his. My home state would be Scotland, lesser known state of Scotland, yeah. And I've been over in the US for about 2 years, and pretty much been doing this job ever since. And I'm in charge of volunteerism, service, work study opportunities, and scholarships at the college.
Thank you. Lauren?
Hi, I'm Lauren Collins. I'm a postdoctoral teaching, research, and mentoring fellow at the University of Montana. So I work at the Davidson Honors College. I work primarily with undergraduate students and do community engaged work in the courses that I teach. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm originally from Colorado. I've lived in Hawaii, Washington, and now Montana. And I have a very large crush on New Mexico, so I've spent a lot of time there, but I've never lived there. And as a kid, I spent a lot of time in Japan, and then in my 20s, I lived in Taiwan, China, and Macau.
Great, thank you. Sasheen, unmute yourself.
Thank you. My name is Sachin Jain. I work at the University of Providence, and I teach in the counseling program. I have lived in 11 states, so I beat Austin. And I was born in India, but I have lived and worked in over 40 countries. One of my favorite countries outside India again, is Burkina Faso in West Africa. And the reason being, my home city in India is very rural, heavy forested. So if you go like 3 miles out of the city, you will see tiger crossings. So when I was living in Burkina Faso, if you go for a walk in the city park, you see crocodiles just chilling out on the side of the sidewalk. So I love that wildlife aspect, being with the nature. So thank you. Oh, and my pronouns are he, him, and his.
Great, thank you. I don't think we have Ben on the call. Going once. Okay, let's head over to Colorado. Aaron?
Okay, I figured out how to unmute myself. Yeah, my name is Erin, she, her, hers. I am an early career assistant professor at Colorado State University, and I teach in construction management, but I look a lot at how people and disasters influence and affect each other in the buildings that we live in. Let's see, I've lived in 5 states, so Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, California, and Washington. And I spent a couple years living in Denmark. Thanks.
Thank you. Michael Humphreys.
Hi, I'm Mike Humphrey. He, him, his. I'm at Colorado State University as well in the Journalism and Media Communication Department. And I have lived in 7 states. I'm an assistant professor in the JMC. I've lived in 7 states. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Lisa.
Sorry, I think, okay, now you can see me a bit better. So I'm Lisa Schwartz. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And for the past almost 4 years, I've been Community Outreach Program Manager at the CU Boulder Office for Outreach and Engagement. Yes, long title. I have a background as an educational researcher and social scientist. And I've lived in 4 countries besides the US. I did study abroad in Mexico when I was in college. And I've lived in Ecuador, Israel, and the Netherlands. Most recently, that's where I was before I came to Boulder. And I've lived in 5 states. I'm from Chicago area. I went to college in Madison, Wisconsin. Then I lived in San Francisco. Then I lived in Tucson for a very long time. And now I've actually lived in Boulder for a pretty long time too.
Great, thank you. Sarah?
Hi, so Sarah Van Etten, she, her, hers, and I'm the program coordinator and teach the course called Pets Forever. We're a service learning course at Colorado State University through the College of Veterinary Medicine. And I'm a 2nd year doctoral student through the School of Education, and my focus is community engaged learning. So super excited to be part of this cohort, yay. I've lived in 5 states. I'm originally kind of from the Midwest. Pittsburgh, I would say, anchored around in Pennsylvania. And 1 other country besides the US. I did a little stint in Switzerland, so.
Great, thank you. And then Stephanie, do you want to go? And then we'll end with Josh and Andrea, and then you guys can move on to walk through the logistics.
Sure. So everything about me is the same as when I introduced myself a moment ago. But I'm Stephanie with Campus Compact of the Mountain West, she, her, hers. And I've only lived in 3 states. I'm a Texan, so I hope nobody gets upset about that because people in Colorado do get very upset about Texans. But I'm from Austin, if that makes any difference. And then I lived in Portland and Oregon and now in Denver. So I call it like the Great Hipster Trail that has been charted through the West. That's it, I think.
Josh and Andrea, go ahead and talk about where you've lived, and then you and Stephanie can work on logistics.
Yeah, so I'm Andrea Vernon. Yeah, I have only lived in 2 states. California, I grew up in California, and been in Montana for the past 27 years.
I was thinking about this. I grew up in Washington State and spent a summer, I'm going to count it, at my grandparents' house in Massachusetts. And I've lived in Montana for years, 25 years or something. And I lived in Latvia in Eastern Europe as a Peace Corps volunteer. So 4 places. All right. So should we move over to the logistics part of this? Okay, I'm gonna figure out some screen sharing stuff here. Stand by. Okay. So Stephanie and I are gonna, something wonky's going on with my moving the, dear God.
What's wrong?
Oh, it's like flashing around. Can folks see this
Yeah.
logistics form? Okay. So Stephanie sent out, I believe, like this overview logistics sheet, specifically covering kind of the upcoming Denver retreat and then some of just, things about this meeting and so forth. Just wanted to make sure that we asked if there were questions about any of this or if we should kind of cover things, the detail of kind of our, the first in-person retreat in Denver, if folks would like that, or if you've had a chance to look through the logistics email or what.
Yeah, so yeah, that was good, Josh. Anything you want to talk about maybe or not. So we are super excited about having everyone come to Colorado and into Denver specifically for the first in-person retreat where we'll be able to get to know each other in a different way than virtually. We're graciously being hosted at the University of Denver, who they don't have anyone represented within the cohort, but have been remarkable supporters of the work of Campus Compact, and primarily through their Center for Community Engaged Scholarship and Learning, CECL. They're providing us space and are also helping us with meals while we're there. So a big thanks to them. We did get feedback from folks about wanting to create as sustainable as possible the retreats that we're having as a group, and we are working hard to do that. There's an awesome group called the Comal Heritage Food Incubator Project here that was started through a group called Focus Points Family Resource Center, and it's all refugee women, and all of the sort of catering and there's a restaurant that they have too, and a food truck goes through there. So they'll be catering the retreat for us. With them, you don't really know what kind of food it's going to be until the women show up that day. So it could be Syrian, it could be Central or South American, or you just sort of have to roll with a little ambiguity in your food choices, but we'll make sure everyone can eat. I thank you for everyone that has gone onto the travel log to put in their travel plans. If there are folks that have not been able to access that, that form, you can put it in the chat, and I will make sure I follow up with you just to make sure that we've got
Gives me the option to close it.
folks on there. You're not muted, Josh.
Yeah, sorry, the Zoom is sort of like glitching like crazy. It was, the reason I was sort of stumbling around is like I have this thing flashing on my screen, so.
Is it flashing for other folks? No. Apparently something weird's happening in the Montana office.
If it crashes, just please use that link and we'll just keep plugging away and hope that the recording works and so forth. But it seems like it's working for others.
Yeah, we're all fine. Nobody's flashing on the screens I see, so.
Good.
Yeah.
And we're the ones in danger of a PG&E outage. I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly.
This is definitely user error, I guarantee you.
So the times are on here. I know that there were some questions about times. So the opening will be on Sunday, November the 3rd at 1. If there are any problems with folks, because I know there's some childcare kind of plans that need to be made in addition to travel plans, feel free to send me an email so we can make sure that we support you guys as much as possible throughout. And then it'll end at noon on Tuesday. So it'll be basically 2 half days and then 1 full day.
Well, and if you're asking about times like start and end of the day, maybe Stephanie might know what time we start, but I think we have some joint meals together as well, including an event on the 4th. So we were planning on having us all eat dinners together, if I'm correct in that. Okay, so, and Stephanie, I don't know if you had a sense of what time we might begin in the morning?
Yeah, I can make something up right now.
That is the weekend of daylight savings. So it happens on that Sunday at 2 a.m. in the morning. So the good news about that is if we fall back, California folks will actually feel like they're on the same time zone. And the mountain folks will feel like they get an extra hour of sleep.
We did that on purpose. You're welcome.
Everyone should be on time.
Yeah. So if we plan, and Lisa, I totally understand the morning time for 9 a.m., that seems to me for some reason to be a lovely time. A lot of this, Marisol and Julie, the 2 facilitators, really have control more of the agenda, and a lot of that is sort of co-created as it goes along. But let's plan on 9 a.m. and if something changes, we can have a conversation about that. Does that sound okay?
So yeah, Lisa, maybe I'm just looking at the comments in the chat. Lisa, if you have things, maybe you can connect with me offline.
Yeah. But plan on 9 a.m. That'll give everyone time to have coffee or tea or whatever you do.
Exercise first, whatever.
Stretch.
The hotel and the meeting site are not exactly right next to each other, is that correct?
Do you want me to move on to that now?
Sorry.
That's okay. So any questions about just flights, getting there, getting into town? Everyone's good? Okay. Josh, do you mind scrolling down? I don't know if you can, if your screen's glitchy, but there's information on here about the options for ground transportation. The hotel that most folks are staying at and the University of Denver are a couple miles away. It's sort of a strange university area without hotels that are right there. But we have plenty of space and personal cars, so we'll be transporting folks from the hotel that need it to the University of Denver and back again. So there won't be need for any sort of cabs or Ubers or whatever people use to move around. And as we get closer, we'll make sure that we have contact information and that everyone knows who's going to pick them up when. We are planning on having dinners together. So on Sunday evening, we'll have a group dinner with just us. And then on Monday afternoon and early evening from 4 to 5:30, there is an event that we will be participating with the University of Denver through their Grand Challenges initiative. And it's a sort of dialogue series around the public purposes of higher education, the sort of public good purposes. And there's a couple of folks that they'll have doing just sort of thought-provoking talks, and we'll be able to integrate that into what we do together, and then we'll go out to dinner after that. And there's a reception and stuff like that. Josh, can you go scroll down or no? It won't let you.
No, I can.
Oh, okay. Any questions so far? No, I've done a really good job. I feel like I get an A+ on this part. Okay. Well, I can't see anything else, and I can't remember what I wrote. So, attire for the reception. Definitely.
Yeah, Josh, maybe you can unshare and then reshare because it's not moving. There are a couple other things we wanted to go over. One thing is we would like you guys, so you're going to feel like this first retreat is a little bit programmed out. But going forward, we really want this to be your experience. And so we really welcome you all playing an active role. If there are things in the design that you feel, you would like to have some input on, you can reach out to us or to Marisol Morales and Julie Pout, our lead facilitators. They will be handling most of the curriculum. But going forward, even whether or not if you all bond greatly and are feeling like, wow, we really want to have a fourth retreat, then we can try and talk about that, look at the budget and figure things out. But and that happened with one of the other cohorts. They had 3 organized retreats, but then decided they really wanted to have a fourth in-person gathering. So we want you to feel some ownership of this and play an active role in addressing things. So each day of the first retreat, we'll have what we call a plus delta, where we talk about what worked, what didn't, and give you a chance to give feedback. But you can also approach any of us as well. Josh, Andrea, Stephanie, and I will be there, but we won't be having an active role in delivering the content, but we are here to make sure you're having a fulfilling experience. So, and we operate as a whole team in terms of with Marisol and Julie. So, give us any feedback you have, and just to remind everyone. So I don't know, Josh, if you were able to scroll down at all.
Yeah, I think we're gonna, so we have the keys to the breakout rooms too, so I hate to do it, but I think we're gonna have to, just because we're not able to see anybody, and I've got this weird flashing box on my laptop, so if I'm gonna
log off and then
just rejoin really fast.
It won't cut any of us off, right? It'll just.
Well, yeah, actually, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to log out as the host, so it's going to end the recording, but I think it should allow you to stay in there. So
if not, we'll all just have to find the link again.
Yes, yeah, please rejoin if you get booted.
Oh, poor Ben, he just joined.
Oh.
Now he's going to think we're leaving because of him. See, this is awkward now.
Ben, hang tight.